Hey everybody, I hope you all are doing well and welcome back to Michael's Matters. Now, of course, as per usual, I am Michael, and for those folks on Social Security benefits, so that's things like Social Security Retirement, Social Security Disability SSDI, Supplemental Security Income SSI, as well as VA and Railroad Retirement Benefits. This new year, that's 2023, brings some very interesting and possibly problematic situations with the House of Representatives moving into the hands of Republicans and possibly facing funding cuts on programs like Social Security, Medicare and Medicaid this year. Furthermore, we get new information about what is the highest Social Security amount for 2023, how you get it, and also we talk about how much President Biden is probably getting on his Social Security benefits this year. Now, before we get to it, if you like these videos, if you find them interesting, helpful, or at least useful, please don't forget to like and subscribe. That way you can get updates when our newest and most informative videos become available. All right, now let's get down to the video. So it's no secret that after this last election, despite avoiding the much predicted red wave of congressional seats flipping to Republicans, there was enough to have them take back control of half of the third branch of our government. That's Congress, and more specifically, the House of Representatives. Moreover, this week, in a knockdown, drag-out fight, politically, ideologically, and almost literally, Republican members of the House had finally chosen a leader to spearhead their efforts after 15 tries. They eventually landed on Kevin McCarthy, a Republican congressman from the great state of California, by really only truly the thinnest of margins. Now, why this is important is because it took him 15 votes to get him over the threshold, and each time a vote didn't pass, McCarthy basically had to give a bigger and bigger concession to some of the most conservative members of the Republican Party, who had previously built their political career on attempting to shrink the federal government, as well as government services. So again, services like Medicare, Social Security, and Medicaid. Now, oh so long ago, last year, maybe about a month or so, if you recall, Republicans were employing a strategy in the pending budget fight that McCarthy had been leading the way to try to use the budget fight as a bargaining chip to shrink programs like Social Security, Medicare, and other government programs. It was laid out clearly in a Republican budget that talked about how to cut down the enrollments and the budgets for programs like Social Security and Social Security Disability, as well as Medicare. It introduces things like raising the retirement age and also making it harder to qualify for some of the other Social Security programs. Now, one of the alleged concessions that Representative McCarthy had to make to fiscally conservative Republicans was to continue to agree to hold off the increasing of the federal debt ceiling in exchange for federal government spending cuts. Now, we already see this in the newest recent House vote by the newly in power Republican majority, who attempted to slash the IRS budget by $80 billion just this week. From all accounts, though, it doesn't appear that the bill will ever pass the Senate or ever even get close to the veto desk at the White House, but it is a statement of purpose, a statement of intent, and a clear change in the trajectory of the lower congressional House. Now, if you think about it, really the only reason why Republicans have to hold the looming debt ceiling increase hostage is because with only the House, they don't have the political muscle to make legitimate changes to federal spending. Now, after the last couple of years, where the Republicans completely out of control of any aspect of the federal government and Democrats not willing to negotiate at all, with this now newfound little foothold that they have, they are going to drag their feet in every way possible to try to cut down on benefits for folks who are receiving things like Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. All right, so setting that aside, we know that with the coming of 2023, it means that one of the biggest increases in Social Security benefits in a lifetime, set at 8.7%. That's the COLA, or the cost of living adjustment. It means that everybody on Social Security, all 66 million seniors and retirees from my sainted grandmother all the way up to the commander-in-chief, are going to see a pretty big increase. This leads me to the new information that came out this week just about how much exactly President Biden, arguably the most powerful person on Social Security benefits, is getting for his Social Security benefits. This is because on POTUS's and FLOTUS's tax return on Form 1040 Line 6A for the tax year of 2021, we can see that they're combined for the year they received $54,665 from their Social Security benefits. Now, that breaks down to $4,555 a month for both of them put together. And if we split that equally, that ultimately comes out to $2,277 per person per month in 2020. 2021. Now, although we have not yet seen their taxes for 2022 because the year just ended and no one's done their taxes except for the most studious people out there, we can figure out their current Social Security payment, approximately at least, by doing some basic math. So in the Biden's most recent publicly available tax return for 2021, their Social Security benefits claims were at $54,665, which we got established. Now, the cost of living adjustment for 2023, or the COLA, is set at 8.7% increase. So if we take that $54,665, we multiply that by 8.7%, that comes out to a yearly increase of $4,756 for them both put together for their Social Security benefit, or a totality of $59,421. Now, if we divide that out for both of them, that's $29,710 a year for one of them, or $2,475.83 for just one of them per month. So it's pretty good, but it's not even close to the highest amount that you could get per person for 2023. In fact, for 2023, the highest amount of Social Security benefits that anyone can get, whether you are a millionaire or a billionaire, is right at $4,555 per person per month, which is up from last year, 2022, at $4,194 per month. So just doing that math, the income math, for what that comes out to yearly, that comes out to $54,660 just from Social Security benefits alone if you are at the highest amount, which is pretty good. I mean, that's a pretty good living if you're just living off Social Security benefits. But if you're wondering what you would have had to do to get this, well, that's the difficult part. First, Social Security is based off two things: how long you've paid in Social Security and how much. Now, they know how much you paid because the benefit is taken out of your paycheck every time you get paid. That's why there is a difference between how much you actually make versus how much you put in the bank at the end of the day. It's based off a payroll tax of 12.4%, but you split that with your employer, so the individual only has to pay half of that of 6.2%. Now, when your benefits are calculated, they will take the top 35 years of your work history. By the way, if you are curious what your current work history looks like on the Social Security side, you can actually check that on your My SSA account online. And you definitely should, because Social Security is far from perfect and they don't always have the right amounts, and that can really mess up your Social Security calculation. Now, where was it? Oh, yeah. So they take the top 35 years of earnings and run it through a calculation that includes how much you earned, and out comes a starting benefit that you'll be eligible for once you hit your full retirement age at 65 or 67 years old, depending on when you were born. Then, of course, after that, each year, you get the COLA, or cost of living increase, to bring those costs up to the quote-unquote cost of living. Now, needless to say, to meet the criteria to get the highest Social Security benefit, you would have had to have pretty high earnings for all of those years. So, for example, in 2023, that number is up to the highest amount that you have to pay in is pay taxes on up to $160,200 worth of your earnings, which is, again, higher than it was last year at $147,000. Now, also, if you were curious how much you would have had to earn over the last 35 years if you're retiring right now, I'm going to put up a Social Security chart right here that shows what they were all the way back to 1937, which I highly doubt anybody is who's watching this YouTube is going to have worked back then, but, you know, if you are, good for you. I mean, even looking at President Biden's Social Security payments, even he didn't make it. But surprisingly for this year, around 6% of all Americans who are on Social Security actually did get the maximum amounts. And that's a lot more than I thought they would have. So overall, thinking about what is going on in the Social Security world, first, I think the Republicans are bluffing, just because they simply don't have the political muscle to really try to take away benefits from millions of Americans, around 66 million, who are on Social Security benefits. So things like Social Security Retirement, Social Security Disability SSDI, Supplemental Security Income SSI, or VA and Railroad Retirement Benefits seem to be safe for the time being. But also, secondarily, it's a terrible idea. If you look at exactly who votes, it's this specific demographic, this specific group of people. But this notion, along with trying to cut spending to the IRS, well, this is going to be just the beginning for the next couple years. And it's more of a flag that they're hoisting on top of the hill to say what they intend to do than actually getting something done. Luckily, though, until they get more of the Senate or more of the House, or I guess even eventually the presidency, Republicans won't have much ability to push any of these things through. Fingers crossed. All right, so that's it for this week's Social Security update, and I hope that you found it interesting, helpful, or at least useful. And if you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe. That way you can get updates when our newest and most informative videos become available. All right, so for Michael's Matters, I am Michael, hoping that you take care of yourself, take care of others, and have a happy, healthy